Oh my god, I wasted 5 minutes? That's crazy.
Melanated.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Morning Tea. Today's tea is iced fairy nectar tea by the Mountain Witch Tea Company. Check them out. I will have links down below if you are into loose leaf, flavorful, herbal, amazing teas. Haha. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about in this episode of Morning Tea is the movie Chiraq. So Spike Lee was filming a movie called Chiraq, and it was getting a lot of attention, and like there were a lot of people who were from Chicago who were very upset about him filming a movie called Chiraq because they don't want to have what's happening in Chicago, the violence that is happening in Chicago, to be compared to Iraq. But I think the term Chiraq comes from a rap song. I don't know who the artist is who put that in their song, but apparently Chicago and their crime and the violence that's happening rivals the crime and the violence that was happening in Los Angeles in the early 90s with the gang rivalries and all the shootings. And as I spoke about, little Tyshawn, 9-year-old boy lured into an alley. I will actually link it right here or right here, and you can check out that morning tea so you can hear about Tyshawn Lee. But yeah, a lot is happening in Chicago. So anyways, this term has been floating around in the media, in the world, called Chiraq, where you refer to Chicago's violence as like Chiraq, right? But now the trailer for this movie has come out, and it is not at all what anyone expected it to be. It is basically, it's a satire, definitely, but it's also a play on the Greek comedy called Lysistrata. And those of you who did theater or took any sort of literature class, you will have heard of Lysistrata. Lysistrata is basically a play that was written in like 411 BC by the Greeks about a city of women, Athenian women of Athens, who decided that they weren't going to have sex with their spouses anymore until they end the war, because there was a war happening. And so the women like got together and moved out of their homes into like a house on the outskirts of town to live there, and until their men put down their swords and stopped fighting. And so that's basically what this movie is based off of. It's the black version of Lysistrata. So it actually looks like it's pretty good. It's something that I will go see. I will support. If I can't go to the movie theaters and see it, I will definitely get it on Amazon, because I think after it's released in the movie theaters, it's available on Amazon. So I will definitely do it then, and I will watch it because I'm a fan of Spike Lee. I think he puts out good quality movie. He's out there representing black people in cinema since the 80s or the early 90s, and it's Spike Lee, so I'm going to 100% support. And from what I saw from the trailer, these women look so cute in this movie. So I'm all for it. I'm all for supporting. However, people are saying that, it really has nothing to do with Chicago or any of the gang warfare, and that's like, it's not the kind of movies that any gangsters or gangbangers would watch. So what's the point? And it's really preaching to the choir. You might have a good time watching it. You might not. It looks great. It looks like cinematography wise, it looks like it's going to be something that's very visually appealing and lovely to watch. And I think the direction is probably fantastic on it. So I'm going to see it for those reasons. But if you wanted to get sort of an insight on what's happening in Chicago and the gang warfare and the violence there, this movie is not that. So, another news from Chicago is that 10 months ago, not 10 months ago, in October of 2014, a young 17-year-old black male named Laquan McDonald was shot and killed in the street by a police officer. His last name is Van Dyke. I can't remember what his first name is, but finally they released the video, and there has been like cry and protests for this video to be released to the public, so the public can see exactly what happened to Laquan and why he was shot and killed in the streets that October evening in Chicago. And from the video that we've seen that just got released today, it looks like he did nothing. Apparently he's just walking down in the middle of the street like he was jaywalking, and the cop just shot him, and then he laid in the streets. I mean, he was shot 16 times, and it turns out that he had a 3-inch knife on him, and it's not clear by the camera that he was walking towards the cop. It seemed as though the cop was about right here, and Laquan was walking this way. And when he got to this point, the cop shot him. I mean, they weren't this close together, but they were more like, far apart. But it just seems like the cop just was so unnecessary with the killing of this kid jaywalking. And that's why they didn't want to release the video, because they didn't want protests and they didn't want violence. And so now the mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, is calling for peace. Yes, we've released the video, and yes, we are prosecuting the officer for first-degree murder. So this officer is actually going to get prosecuted for first-degree murder. He hasn't been on the police force. I mean, well, he's been getting paid by the city, like a paid leave of absence. But for 10 months, he has not been on active duty, or he's been on some sort of like medium active duty. And now, the judge has denied bail for him. He's claiming to be innocent, but it's very clear that Laquan posed no threat to him, and that for Laquan to have been shot 16 times was definitely overdone. And the cop was white, in case you haven't already figured that out. So I'm going to be watching this closely to see how this unfolds, but I'm actually kind of happy and shocked that they actually charged this cop with murder. And so I'm kind of like, good Chicago, thanks. Cook County, thank you. Prosecutor, thank you for trying to get this young man justice. So Turkey shot down a Russian airplane. So this Russian airplane was in Syrian airspace, apparently. So there's some discrepancy and some dispute with that. But Turkey says that they hailed this fighter pilot and told them that you were in Turkey airspace, you do not belong in Turkey airspace. And the fighter pilot did not respond. And so Turkey shot down this plane, and Russia's like, no, you knew it was us and you don't care. You're supporting ISIS and you know that we're trying to fight ISIS, so come for it. And Putin is not having it. But as far as their natural resources, like natural gases and stuff, they kind of have like a tenuous relationship where they do work with each other, but it's like anything can set them off. And like Putin is like, you shoot down one of my planes, I'm coming for you. Putin's like, I'm coming for that ass. So Turkey and Russia, their relationship is getting a little wonky. So keep an eye out for that. Jared, remember Jared, the spokesperson for Subway, who last year was brought up on charges for child pornography? Apparently he went for a deal with the DA and pled guilty, and they gave him 15 years and 8 months. So he has paid for sex with underage girls that are aged like 16 and 17. And he also helped facilitate and sell child pornography. I'm not sure how he did it. I don't know the ages of the girls or the children that were in the pornography, but like, this is like crazy. I don't understand the hubris of a person who, like, I understand there are people who can't help who they're sexually attracted to. I understand that pedophiles, most of them don't want to be pedophiles, and they're not reveling in it, and they're not trying to look for child pornography because they understand that industry is human trafficking and sex slavery for the most part. And it's terrible and horrible to do that to a child, right? To sexualize a child. But then to actually like pay a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old to have sex with you, and like have the hubris of thinking you won't get caught, or the just like gall to think that you're not damaging that person in any way. It's just so selfish and so ridiculous. And like, he's trying to say that 15 years is a lot, especially because the girls he actually had sex with were 16 and 17. It's not like they were like 12. But I'm like, you sold child pornography, dude. Like, 15 years. Like, this is what, no. Like,
no.
And then you're trying to say like, oh, it's because he had like a crazy eating disorder, and since he like fixed that eating disorder, it turned into hypersexuality. I'm like, did you have an eating disorder because you knew that you were a pedophile and you were trying to deny your pedophilia, and so you ate yourself almost to death? Like that, okay. like inflict that on yourself, but then to like heal yourself of the weight situation and then to go and act on your pedophilia, because people don't just stumble into pedophilia. Like if you're attracted to someone who's younger, R. Kelly, then like that's who you're attracted to. It's your job to live with your pain and not have sex with them because it's inappropriate and it hurts them. More so than anything else, it hurts them. So last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of gossipy of me and I feel a little guilty talking about it because I'm like, I'm not this person. But apparently Chris Rock filed for divorce last year in December, which I was not aware of. And like, I'm happy that I wasn't aware of it because I feel like he's keeping his ish under wraps. He has been married to his wife for 19 years and he was just finally like, no, I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. And he says like, that it was hard and there were times that he was just sad and there was times that he was just like, okay with it. But apparently, and this is the gossipy part of it that may or may not be true, so don't hold me to this. Apparently, his wife came home with like their third child from South Africa or something. Like she like adopted a third child. There's no actual legal papers for this third child. And he's making it seem, or his representative, or how the internet is making it seem, is like he really didn't know about it, like what happened, but he just went along with it because he's like, my wife found this child, like I helped take care of it, it's great. And then now they're getting divorced. He's like, well, so I didn't legally adopt this child. So now that we're getting a divorce, I don't know that I should be paying for this child. So you're gonna have to take the money that you get for our legal children, the children that came out of your body that have my DNA with them. I will pay you for them and for you, and then you need to take the money from that and then also pay for this third child. And apparently she's trying to get money for the third child, and also that she's not really having him see the kids as much as they should. Like there's some kind of like she's trying to keep the kids away from him type of shenanigans. Now, I hope that none of this is true because I would really hope that a woman would not try to keep her kids away from their father, especially because he took care of them and the family for 19 years and was on the road hustling, trying to be a comedian and doing his thing and building his sort of Chris Rock empire. And if he wants a divorce, like maybe she shouldn't be all in her feelings about it and upset about it, because apparently the divorce was amicable. Like, both parties were like with it. So like, whenever I hear about custody stuff like that, where like women don't want their kids to see the dad, I'm a little weird about it unless the dad is like actually an F up. Like if like it was Charlie Sheen's situation and Denise Richards was like, I don't want you to see the children without supervision. Like I would get that because Charlie Sheen is like a raging cokehead and a sex addict. Like I understand that, but like Chris Rock, like what? So I hope that's not true. So anyways, that's it for today's episode of Morning Tea. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you'd like to join the conversation, please leave a comment down below. And if there's something that you want me to talk about, if you've seen a current event that I didn't see, that I should talk about and let the people know, you should let me know down below. Okay? Don't forget to follow me on Snapchat. I'm super funny and I'm always just talking about random things. So if you kind of want to see more of me behind the scenes, follow me on Snapchat at WickedWah. Okay guys, thank you so much. Have a fantastic day.